What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Tactical Foul. This is our new broadcast day. Friday mornings, Eastern Standard Time. So in the afternoon for all of our people across the pond, my name is Tigo. That person to my right is my good friend, Kevin. Kevin, how are you doing today?
Man, I'm doing good. Football is a little crazy right now because there's not really anything going on beside the Olympics. But, there's all the transfer drama, of course, like always.
Yep.
And, me and you really like to get into the Barcelona Real Madrid thing and kind of speculate through what's going to happen this season. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to talk about today.
Let's just do the El Clasico summer transfer super episode and not waste any time, because there are things that we want to talk about, and I want to start with Barcelona.
Yeah.
Not because I want to end with Real Madrid, but because I have to bring this up. My friend, if you could take a step back and stand up, already got the brand new Barca kit, repping it. I love the centralized logo. I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah.
I love the centralized logo. Not a fan of the traditional double spirit, whatever. I get it, nostalgia. But how are we feeling about this year's kits? Because I really like your guys' away kit. I think y'all knocked that one out of the park.
The black away kit, I love it. And yeah, man, I love this kit. I mean, I loved it just because I like it when it's like a little bit darker colors. Like these kind of colors kind of remind me of that 2014-20 season, just because of like the darkness of the color, because sometimes it's a little lighter, like the red and blue. Anyway, I love the kit. I know you're not like a huge fan of it.
I just don't like I don't like the split, the split in half. I understand that that's the traditional
Maybe it is
kit.
nostalgia. Maybe it is nostalgia for me, but man, I love it. I love the way it looks. I had to get it. And your boy dropped a lot of money. Not a lot of money, but he dropped a significant amount of money trying to get it because, I mean, they just came out. So,
again, the orange kit came out like a couple of days ago, the away kit. I'm not a fan of this year's Real Madrid. The white and the black.
The orange kit, though, man, I mean, that's pretty classic. It's pretty classic.
No, I love the orange kit. I'm getting the orange kit.
Yeah,
I love that orange color.
I better see you on the next podcast. Or
it won't be next podcast. It won't. It'll be a few weeks. I've got 2 kids and I'm buying a house. It'll be a little bit. I'll have it before the season starts, guaranteed. Good. But it'll be a little bit. Give me some time. I ain't got that. I ain't got jersey money like you, my friend.
Right.
But let's just jump right into.
I don't. And just to make it clear, I don't have jersey money.
I know.
I just wanted it so bad, dude.
It's that ask for forgiveness.
My girl got so mad at me. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
It's not ask for permission, ask for forgiveness, dude. I'm planning on doing the same thing. Just once we close 100%. On the house, the orange jersey's coming to the new house, and it's just gonna be here one day. And my wife's gonna be like, where did this come from? The one question I do have is, one, I hope they sell it long sleeve. Do I get it short sleeve or long sleeve? I love the long sleeve jerseys, but we're not here to talk about jerseys. We're here to talk about our clubs. We're here to talk about our favorite clubs. And I want to kind of open up the floor to have a conversation about Barca, because it's very well known, all of the financial troubles that Barca are in, and the troubles with registering players and trying to find money for the new transfers that they want to do. And I know that you and I have very different views on those things. And I want to clarify this right from the rip before I let you go. I don't actually hate Barcelona. I hate Atletico Madrid more than I hate Barcelona. I actually want Barcelona to be a good team, but I want them to be just good enough to get second place. And that's it. Just good enough to make El Clasico competitive until we dominate until we win it. That's what I want Barcelona to be, and I just don't see that as the club like that right now. And I want to try to be as objective as possible for a club that I don't really want to do well, but I do want to make it clear. I don't actually hate Barcelona. I actually hate Atletico Madrid more than I hate Barcelona. I might hate some players that played for Barcelona. I might hate the president who's currently managing Barcelona. I might.
Okay, but let me ask you this.
I might hate Araujo, but I don't dislike the club.
Why do you hate Laporta so bad? And that's going to get into like the rest of what we're going to talk about too.
Because I think that he is One, because of his first stint as president and all the stuff that you guys did in that first stint, and he was responsible for. So screw him, because that was like the best. That was the best of Barcelona, and like I was a Real Madrid fan standing on the sidelines looking at the best team the world has ever seen. And he was a big part of making that team, right? So there is a hatred from that. But I also feel like ever since he's gotten to the club, while he has done some good stuff behind the scenes, I feel like at every opportunity that he's had to make the on-field product better, I feel like he hasn't. And I feel like he's being an active detriment to making the on-field product, because that's what I care about. I don't care about how much money you're making. I don't care about any of that. I don't care what trophies you're winning. In a perfect world, you win no trophies. You get into the finals every single time and lose to Real Madrid. Chef's kiss. That's the perfect world. But we can't live in that world because I feel like of the decisions that Laporta is making. It's kind of what Rivaldo said, and let's remember, Rivaldo's a Barca legend. And just because he's Brazilian doesn't mean that I enjoy Rivaldo. But I think Rivaldo was spot on in his assessment of Barcelona and what he said a couple of days ago, which was Barca isn't just a Nico Williams away from being able to be competitive with Real Madrid. And I don't think that Barcelona, at least Laporta, thinks that. I think in his mind, if you go get Nico Williams, we can compete with Real Madrid right now. And it's just like, I just don't see that world. I think that Laporta is actively sacrificing long-term stability for short-term viability, when I think it should be the other way around. I think you should sacrifice your short-term viability for long, sustained dominance, because that's what we expect from Barcelona. And taking a year or two off in terms of really pushing for Champions Leagues and really, really being competitive in the La Liga, I don't think that's going to be that bad for the club. But that's my opinion on the state of Barcelona right now. It seems like the transfers that they gave for Dani Olmo, this pursuit of Nico Williams, which just seems foolhardily. The only move that I agree is Mikel Merino. I think you guys need him. I think you guys should go get him, and I don't think he's going to be all that money.
We definitely need a 6, but I think Mikel Merino would be a great 6 for us.
As a Barca fan, is what I'm saying just Real Madrid fan hate that I'm not trying to see?
I don't think it's Real Madrid. I actually, you know what? I actually feel like, because some things you do say with like Real Madrid in the back of your mind, which is like fair, because I try not to do the same thing. Right. No. But this is the one time I do agree that you're saying it like from a non-biased sort of standpoint, like how you would run your club personally at this level or at this point in time. And I don't disagree with you, but I just feel like, and yeah, this is partially me saying it as a fan. Barcelona are just they have high expectations, and you know this. And I told you this earlier about the same thing with Real Madrid. If you were in our position, you'd be in that same like, hey, I want to win this year, even though we don't have the financial means. And even though I know that we're going to have to take a step back for 2 years, I want to win something. I want to be there. I want to still have that illusion of like, hey, maybe La Liga, maybe the Champions League, maybe something, right? And so I do understand that. Barcelona have a tendency, especially when we're talking about like the socios, the board, the members, whatever you want to call them all together, that we want to win something. We want to win, and winning is what keeps the club afloat, especially when we're talking about like financials, players coming in, players coming out, and in the men's football team, because earlier we did a whole breakdown of like their financials, this and that. And though I do agree, like it'd be nice if we could just take a step back and not worry about. Look, this is my biggest takeaway. This team is not fit enough right now to win, to even compete. Hold on, brother. I'm not hearing you at all. I think you're muted.
My
or
bad.
something.
That is, I was muted. But what is competing to you? In your
Competing,
mind,
compete.
what is
Okay,
a
at the
result
end
that's
of the
competitive?
at the end of the day, competing is being up there in the top 2 spots of La Liga.
Okay, I don't think you're going to lose that, even if you went with my
No,
plan.
but the thing is, man, I don't know with this side. I just don't know, man. Like the last bit was real disappointing, and then now the biggest thing is we have a new coach. You know what I mean? New ideas. If we would have kept
New
Xavi, then I would have
system.
been like, oh, if we would have kept Xavi, I would have told you something different. I would have been like, yeah, we probably don't need to spend on Nico Williams right now. We don't need to do all this stuff. I would have been fine with just Miko Marino and a few players coming out and blah blah blah. But the new system, like the whole thing that Laporta did at this point in time, like, yeah, I do agree. He backed himself up into a corner.
And it was his
point.
own
And he's
it was his
going,
own
it's his own
decisions.
doing. It's his own doing. But it's because he wants to win. And that's one thing I can take away from him. And I know that like he hasn't made the best decisions. You know, we've gone through a lot of the decisions he's made, good and bad. And I'm not saying he's a wonderful president. You know, I'm not saying he's like one of the best ones or anything like that. But
I just get scared of a president who's very clearly backed into a corner.
right, and he is.
I'm not scared of a possum in an open field.
That's the thing about this season that's gonna be. I don't know if it. I want to say excited. I want to be excited. And if we get Nico, I feel like it's gonna be a little more.
That sale. You can sell that to the fan base.
Yeah, like I don't know. To me, especially me as a fan, because I mean, I got to look at this is my team, so I'm gonna look at it as a fan. I can't look at it like your point is a non-biased standpoint, and I agree with it. Like if I'm talking about Arsenal right now, I would say the same things you're saying right now because I'm not an Arsenal fan, but I want them to do well in a non-biased standpoint. So I would tell you the same things you're talking. That's why I'm saying like this is one of the only times that I've heard you talk about Barcelona non-biasedly because you're not talking about them biasly. You're not wrong in what you're saying.
And I'm not
about
trying to be.
They need to take that step back. And I know you're not.
And it's not a step back. It's not a step. It's just take the foot off the gas. Just take cruise for 2 years. I think if you cruise for 2 years, and I don't want to dive too deeply into this because at the end of the podcast, we're going to do a how would I run Barca, how would you run Real Madrid segment. Yeah. So I don't want to get too, it's just take your foot off of the gas. Just a little bit. Don't think or believe that you're going to be competitive in the Champions League. Don't think or believe that you have a shot of winning La Liga. I'm not saying you're not going to win a trophy.
That's the thing. My thing is, I don't have the expectation this year that we're going to win the Champions League, but I do want to win La Liga.
And
I do want that as a fan. I do want that, and I feel like the best way to compete with Real Madrid right now, because I mean, Real Madrid have the best team right now.
Yeah, and
the best team. We have to be able to compete with them, dude. Like, it's not like I'm not gonna be happy as a Barcelona fan if we're second with 10 points behind Madrid. I'm just not gonna be happy. I'm not going to be happy as a Madrid fan. Or as a Barcelona fan, I am not going to be happy. Right, it is. And was I happy this year? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I was not happy with this.
Generally speaking,
and so that's what I'm saying, though, man. I like competing.
I hear you.
Competing against a team like Madrid right now is not possible with what we have. It's not possible with what we have.
Can I propose something? Because I think we're using the word competing, and I think we're meaning different things. What do you mean? Just keep up? Is that really what you want?
Just keep up. Just keep up. Give Madrid a run for their money in La Liga. I'm not saying that we're going to be strong enough. I know you don't see that. I know you don't. But okay, let's look at. Wait. Let's look at this. And we talked about this earlier. Madrid love to prioritize the Champions League over any other competition.
Yeah, totally.
Am I wrong?
Totally. No, yeah, look.
So there's going to be games. There's going to be games where they're going to take their foot off the gas. In La Liga, and that's where I'd like Barcelona to be good enough to take advantage of.
The only thing that I'm going to say about this, and we talked about this off the podcast, and we'll talk about it when we talk about Real Madrid in a little bit, but the one place that I can't, this is why I don't think you guys are going to be competitive. And it is not competitive. Why you'll be able to keep up, but you won't really push us in La Liga. And it is the depth. And what I mean by that is, yes, we're going to have our starting 11. The starting 11 that everybody's going to expect, going from the back to the front. Courtois, Mendy, Militao, Rudiger, Carvajal, Tchouaméni, Valverde, Bellingham, Rodrigo, Mbappe, Vinny, right? That's going to be our starting 11. Cool. And in the big games against the biggest competitions, that's going to be the 11 that you're going to see. The difference is this, is that you can't play your starting 11 all 38 games. It's not realistic in La Liga. That's just not realistic. And right now, I think that the depth that Real Madrid have are going to give them this ability to be able to sustain wins in La Liga. Last year, with the same level of depth, and we only got deeper, especially up top.
That's assuming that you do get the players that you need, because you do still need center backs.
We need a center back. We need a center back. We need because we lost Nacho. We need a center back. There is conversations that Laporte might come, and that there's.
But then also Alaba is getting older.
Totally, but Alaba would be a secondary target. Remember, starting 11, okay, Alaba can play.
You need your first target, and it's gonna have to be Rudiger and Militao. You better be sure Rudiger and Militao.
That's our starting center back pair. You said it yourself in the Euro podcast that you thought Rudiger was probably one of the best center backs in the world. I agree. I love him.
No, 100%.
And Militao, while I do have concerns about Eder Militao,
I have concerns over.
I totally do too. Specifically for me, it's his height. At center back, I'm kind of concerned there.
I think it's his. For me, it's his confidence. I haven't seen the confidence.
Here's the thing,
especially with Brazil.
Yeah, let's not talk about Brazil.
Right.
I don't want to get mad. This is a good podcast. Anyway. It's a happy podcast. It's happy times. My thing is, I totally agree with you. We need a center back, and we'll talk about that when we get to the Real Madrid part. But I still think that the depth that this team provides is better than what most teams are going to play. And I think that's kind of the point. And let's be real. Tchouaméni can play as a center back. He did that last year. If we get into a pinch, he did it exceptionally well. And the person who would come in to replace Tchouaméni in that DM spot would be Camavinga, who is also an exceptional talent. You know what I mean? Camavinga is currently sitting on our bench. Brahim Diaz, Arda Güler, freaking Endrick is coming. This is where I look at it and I go, I think our standards are a little bit different when it comes to Barcelona. When I look at it as a hopeless cause for Barcelona, because you can spend all of this money that you don't have on these players, bringing them to Barcelona, and I still don't think it'll be enough. Whereas you could not do that, and Real Madrid are not going to be able to keep this squad together. The youth are going to want to go start somewhere. Liverpool are already trying to make a bid for Arda Güler since the report came that Rodrigo's not going anywhere, that we're playing a front three again. So they're already gearing up to try to get Arda. We're talking about 1, maximum 2 years of being able to have this starting 11 and this depth. If Barcelona position themselves in the right way to dude, all they have to do is wait for the Spotify deal to kick in. Once the revenue streams start coming in from the Camp Nou, Barcelona is going to be spending money like Manchester United are this summer. They're on 3 signings already? 4 signings, major signings? Lenny Yoro, Xerxes, like they're spending a ton of money.
That's a big thing is Laporta's banking on that money coming in
to save him,
to be complete this season and save him. Because at the end of the day, we're going to judge him based off of the decision he made with Xavi.
Yeah.
And so I get it. I get what you're saying. I mean, it wasn't a smart decision. I told you that from the beginning. I don't know when we talked about it or if we even had a podcast. I don't think we had a podcast. No, it was never on the podcast. It was just. But I told you this from the beginning that it was a stupid decision. And I get that. I get that 100%. But this is why Laporta's now making these moves. Because now it's a make or break season for us.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I feel like. To me, that's what's exciting about it.
Of course.
I'm excited because I want Barcelona to because Laporta's backed into a corner, and I want to see what he can do, and it's either gonna be good or it's gonna be terrible.
It's Real Madrid in 2017. It was boom or bust for Zidane. We were hearing all the stuff coming out of the locker room, and it was, dude, you got to win the third Champions League or you're done. And he won the third Champions League, and he was still done because of how bad we did in La Liga. To wrap up the Barca thing, and then to move to Real Madrid, the reason I'm concerned about Barca is because it seems like Laporta is backed into a corner. And a wild animal is its most dangerous when it's backed into a corner. And I feel like he is going to make a lot of really, really dumb moves that you guys are going to end up paying once he's gone that are going to set you back.
I don't think so. And it's because of what you mentioned about the Spotify deal. Like, the money's going to come in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he's spending that money already.
If this season we don't do well, and the thing is, we're not guaranteed to get Nico Williams. We're not guaranteed. And if we don't end up getting Nico Williams, we'll probably pay for somebody much cheaper that we need in that position. And I'm thinking Krakasvela or whatever his name is, that you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Hopefully him. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He's not even a target right now.
Nope.
Maybe it'll be Dani Olmo. Either way, I mean, we need to bring in. We definitely need a 6. Definitely need a left winger. That's without question. That's no question, dude. Whether it's Nico, whether it's not, we're gonna have to bring somebody in. We're gonna have to spend money no matter what if we want to compete this season at all. Because with the current team, dude, it's just I don't see it as a complete possibility, and I feel like Xavi saw it, and that's why Laporta fired him.
Xavi saw it and made it public.
Yeah.
That, I think, is the biggest issue.
Yeah. And so I just feel like if we can get these, hopefully 3 players, if not 2 players, whether it's Olmo and Merino or whether it's Nico and Merino, like, this is going to be crucial to our season, dude. It's going to be crucial to us being in those top 2 spots. It just has to happen, dude. And yeah, Laporta's banking on, hey, I'm going to spend this money now to get the Spotify deal later, which is I'm okay with as a fan. I have to be okay with it because I want my team to do good this season. I do.
It's checking money that you just don't have yet.
I get it. I get your frustration with it.
It's not even frustration.
I get your yeah. I get your point in it, but like, if we compete, that'll pay off. If we can give you guys a run for your money this season, it's going to pay off. And I'm not saying that it's going to happen because I can't say that with my chest right now until I see how we're doing. We had 1 game today, actually, and we won, but it was against a small team. But think about this. I think we have a total of 5 players out right now. We got Pau Cubarsi and Fermin Lopez in the Olympics. We have Ansu Fati just got injured. Araujo just got injured. And, man, I don't know who else.
Araujo getting injured is devastating.
Devastating.
I thought you guys were going to sell him for sure. Now he's going to have to stay on the team.
Definitely not going to happen now. And so, I don't know, man. It's going to be tough. But the payoff, if it works, if it happens.
See,
and the thing is, it's backed into a corner, and it sucks. It sucks for us. But it's not like we haven't been in a worse situation.
No, and I think my biggest thing is just like all of what you were saying all sounds like you just want to stay relevant. Because
it's not even about staying relevant, like,
dude. Just the way that it sounds like what you're saying. Just the sound.
No, it's not about staying relevant.
Sounds like
I want my team to do well. I want my team to do well. And you would say the same thing if your team was backed in the corner.
I'm not denying that. But I think the biggest problem with that is the risk reward. And we'll just end it. And then also, risk of going all in to try to compete in La Liga.
And then let's go back to what you said.
To only end in second.
Staying relevant. Staying relevant's important, dude.
I think you can bank on your brand. If your badge can't carry you for a year or two, what have you been building the last 100 years? That's the problem.
Staying relevant is big for any team.
Bro, Manchester United haven't won anything in 10 years, and they're still one of the biggest clubs in branding and all that stuff. You can't tell me that winning that your brand, Barcelona, one of the biggest brands in the world, I think the second highest valued football club brand in the world,
Let me tell you
can't
something,
sustain off of
Let
the
me tell you
back
the
of.
difference. Let me tell you the difference between us and Madrid and Man United.
Well, United, they're money
Premier
hungry.
League. The difference between us and United is that we only like Man United have to deal with Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea, you know, Tottenham, plenty of teams in the Premier League. We only have y'all, and y'all are the best of the best.
Exactly. So I don't
Right.
think that it's all that. I think it is. Let me ask this question. Do you think it's fair to say that Real Madrid are the best team in Europe right now? Or the best team in the world right now?
It's a fair statement.
Okay.
I've said it. I've said it. Right now, they're the
Cool.
best team in Europe.
It is.
I've said it.
It is okay to not be able to not compete. That's the wrong word. It is okay to not be comparable to the best team in the world.
But
The problem is when you try to get there.
Listen,
and
I
you
would
can't.
agree with you. I would agree with you if in the last decade we weren't going back and forth.
I don't think it's. Yeah, I think for the last decade. But here's the thing.
Maybe the last 15 years we've been going back and forth. It's a rivalry, dude. It's not just Madrid are better. No, it's a Catalonia. It's a Spanish,
the capital versus
like
the
oppression. It's politics are involved.
Totally.
It's much bigger than what you're making it ought to be.
No. That's not what I'm trying to do.
But that's the thing is you can't compare us to Manchester United. It's not the same thing. They're not in the same situation. Like it's not as big for them as it is for us against Madrid.
But I want to bring up an era of Barcelona really quick, right? Just to kind of prove this idea that I think of what you're saying is I think just objectively wrong in terms of if we look at Barcelona and Real Madrid from 2008 to 2009 to 2017, 2018, or even 2018, 2019, right? Let's look at those 10 years. That was Barcelona dominance, right? This is the first stint of Laporta. That's where you guys won the La Liga every year. That's when you guys were winning all of your Champions Leagues, was in that era, right? And if we let's say take out the three-peat, let's go 2014 to 2009, right? Those 5-6 years. You guys won La Liga 4 of 6 times. That's dominance. That is something to hang your hat on. As a Real Madrid fan, as a Real Madrid supporter, as a Real Madrid fan, did I give up on my club? Did the club fall to the wayside and turn into Manchester United? No, we couldn't compete with the best club in the world.
That's a little bit of an understatement, man. That's a little bit of because y'all out of those seasons, I would say that one season y'all didn't like go toe to toe with us.
No, dude,
which is the 2010-2011 season was the one season I would say y'all didn't go toe to toe. But even in those seasons, man, y'all had a great squad. Y'all dropped money on players. Y'all y'all did whatever you could to be able to come and beat us.
I think it's funny that you brought up that year because that year we were only 4 points behind, whereas in 2012, 2013, we were 15 points behind.
Yeah, but the 2012, 2013, we didn't win the Champions League.
No, of course not. But what I'm saying is
I think.
No, I don't think we won in 2013, 20. There's so many. I don't think we won that year.
No. Anyways, but my point is Madrid competed heavily and they had a great team and they dropped money on players and they did exactly what Barcelona's doing now that Madrid are back in the dominant area.
Of course, but what I'm saying is this is like it's okay to be second fiddle to Real Madrid. I don't think that spending the money on Nico Williams, Dani Olmo, Mikel Merino, and doing all of this stuff is going to make the club get that much closer to Real Madrid than what you guys are now. And I don't think that Atletico Madrid is close enough to you guys for you to be worried.
I'm going to bring my point again. We're going to have to drop money on players. We just have to.
And
it's not to stay relevant. It's because where are we going to be at if we don't? Where are we going to be at if we don't?
I don't think. Here's
With
the
a new
thing.
system, a new coach, a new everything.
He's got to figure it out with the players that you've got in the building. You don't have the 250, 300 million euros to spend on that.
We will have it. We will have it.
Yes,
and
but you
fine.
don't have it now.
I am fine with not having it now and being able to pay it later.
But
as long as we
But
can
you know
compete.
who's not? RB Leipzig. They don't want money later. They want money now. You know who's not?
Well, then we don't get Olmo.
They don't want money later. They want money now.
Atletico Bilbao, then they shouldn't have had a release clause on what's his name that we're willing to pay.
But you don't have that money. That's the point. Arsenal have the money. They want the 60 million euros.
Barcelona have the money to pay that up front. That's what we're banking on. That's what Laporta have said. I don't know. I can't
That's my thing. I'm not going to trust Laporta.
I'm not a financial advisor. But the fact that, like, hey, we made this deal with the player. The only way to get him, it's not like Atletico Bilbao are willing to take a deal that it's lower than their release clause. No, they want I get that they want the money now. And so if we're making a deal with the player, why would it make sense that we wouldn't have the money now to pay for him?
Bro, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is Laporta might be full of delusion and thinking that he's going to find that money. That's a realistic option. Every article from every source that I read.
If Nico Williams comes, it's because we had the money.
No, it's because you made the money.
If he doesn't come, no, not because we made the money. That release clause has to be paid up front no matter what.
100%. But what I'm saying is like you need to find from every report that I have been able to find. It says that you guys are 100 million euros in the hole, and then you still on top of that would need to pay the 58 million euros. I feel like
a lot of the reports that you're reading are old reports. And
no, the one I read was from last 2-3 days ago on The Athletic talking about this deal. They were talking about how that Barcelona are keen, that they are ready to offer a contract, which they did over, I think today they offered him a contract, right?
No, they did.
Was it yesterday?
The beginning of this week. Beginning of this week.
I saw that report, and it said they offered him a contract and that they're ready to move forward with the deal, but that there's still 100 million euros in the hole, that they haven't been able to register 7 new players, and even if they paid for the money that they have for him, that they wouldn't be able to register him for La Liga.
I don't know. I can't tell you right now until I go and read the annual reports thoroughly where we're at, how we're going to do it. But the thing is, if it happens, it happens.
Of course.
And if we did it, we did it. And it doesn't matter how, and it doesn't matter if we didn't have the money, but we made the money later. I don't care. If we did it, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be happy because that player's really good, and I want him in my team.
Yeah, you should. And he wants to be there.
I want him in my team. And he wants to be here. And that's the biggest thing about it all, is that he wants to be here. He likes the team. He has a good connection with key players that are there. Mm-hmm. And I want him there. And that's it. And if he gets there, I'm going to be happy. And I feel like if he gets there, we're going to have a lot more edge than we would without him.
Yeah, I think you should care more about the how. I don't think you should just care about the end result. I'm
going to tell you this. I will read the annual reports thoroughly, and I will see how it's going to happen. And yeah, I mean, even if I don't read the annual reports, a report's going to tell me how much money is out or how much money's in or whatever, because at the end of the day, it is what it is. You know what I mean? It is what it is. At least it's not as bad as what the old president was doing with all the deals he made with Neymar, Dembele, Griezmann, Coutinho,
selling Cucurella for pennies on the dollar.
Pjanic. We were just talking about Pjanic.
Oh my God, Pjanic!
Yes, maybe it's not the best, idea, whatever. But if this dude cares enough about the club to bring in a player that's gonna give us a little bit of edge and not leave us behind, and if he's doing it the right, way, obviously I don't want to be in the hole. I have to find out what the annual reports say.
But time out before you move on. Can you really say that he's doing it the right way? Can you say that confidently?
I don't know. I can't.
Since he's arrived, right? You're talking about 55 million on Ferran Torres and all the money stuff.
I don't need you to explain to me the.
No, but it's not for you. It's not for your edification. This is for the listeners, right?
Yeah.
I don't want your you don't need to respond. We know how we feel about it. But the whole point is, I think you've seen enough from him to say that he's not making the right financial decisions. We just talked about Pjanic and Antoine Griezmann and Frankie de Jong and Ousmane Dembele. and all those
Antoine
things.
Griezmann and Pjanic were not his doing.
No, they're not. But we just talked about those deals.
What?
We just talked about those deals being bad deals, right? They're not his deals.
Not on his end.
They're not his deals, but those are bad deals. But you know what is in the same tier of those deals, in my opinion? Ferran Torres for $55 million. Robert Lewandowski at 33 years old for $45 million, and then giving him $33 million a year as a contract this year.
Honestly, though,
or Rafinha for 58.
Let's be real.
Vitor Roque for 40.
Lewandowski for $45 million wasn't terrible because he was one of the best strikers in the world at the time that we.
But at 32, you're going to pay that much for a striker? That's the question.
We needed a striker, and he was the best one we could have got at the best price. Because, like, listen, we're not just going to get whatever.
Gone.
We don't want him gone. There's no report saying that we want him gone.
No. But we were having a conversation. You said you would sell him.
I want him gone because I want Nico Williams in there, and I want money. I don't know how we're going to get that money because I don't know the extent of Barcelona's financial issues right now, and even a report's not gonna say a whole thing until I read this annual report, and I'm like, oh.
But it's not just the annual report. You got to look at the annual report,
and
you got to look at the
like,
La
there's
Liga report.
There's so much. Listen, there's so much.
No, it's really complicated. And
it's a really complex. I'm not a financial.
I'm not an accountant.
I didn't get. I'm not an accountant. Maybe my girl will be able to look at it better and say something about it. But even then, I don't really know. I do care. I mean, I do care about us financially, but I also care about, the football aspect, how good we're going to do. That's important to me, and it'd be important to you too. And yes, I understand that the financial aspect is important as well. But the thing is that it's not anywhere near where it was. And that's the only thing that matters to me now.
Of course not.
That's the only thing that matters to me now. And obviously, we've talked about this before. He's backed up into a corner.
Yep.
If he screws this up, he's gone.
Yep.
And more than likely, he will be kicked out if this goes awry.
Yep.
And it's not so substantial that I'm gonna be like, oh my God, we can't get these players. Forget about it. The thing is, it's on him.
Yep.
It's on him 100%. And so now I want my team to do well for these reasons. Because you get like that's the thing. That's the thing about it. It's not so much like, if he screws up, it's on him. He's gonna be gone. There's gonna be a new guy coming in, and he'll make the decisions that are necessary. And if we're gonna have to take that step back, we're gonna have to take the step back. But this is the last chance he has. This is the last chance that I'm going to give him as a fan.
I think that's
you know what I mean. And so I want to look at him. I want to look at him and be like, you know what? For my team, I want him to do well. For my club, I want him to do well.
And I just don't believe he will.
And I'm delusional. Yes, I am delusional thinking we're going to compete against a Madrid that's going to have Mbappe, Jude Bellingham, Vinny Jr., and Rodrigo in their squad. And if they get Saliba, it'll be a whole different game, which I still do not think they're going to get. But
not this year, next year.
You're confident about it. Anyway, doesn't matter. This year, if we can compete with this team, dude, that's all that's going to matter to me, because that's going to be the decision of, okay, now we're going to have to look at it and be like, Laporta has to be gone, and now we have to take a foot off the gas. But at least if we take a foot off the gas, we have a very young Nico Williams who's going to be there for a long time, and we have a lot of young players coming up.
Here's the problem with that.
That's why.
Here's the problem with that, Kevin. This is where I look at it and I go, and then we'll end it here for real.
Yeah, for real.
One of the things that you said there is like, oh, we can try to compete, and if we can't, we can take off the gas next year. Here's the problem.
No, not next year.
No.
First, we have to get rid of Laporta, because this year's going to determine that.
But
then we can make a determination of where the team's at and where it's going.
100%. But if you go through that route, what you're talking about is you will eventually, the bill always comes due. The bill will always come due. And the further you push that back, the further you keep pushing that back, the bigger that bill becomes. And what could be a quick little scrape, a quick little detriment now, can become a massive, massive liability later. And what you're saying is true, but what happens if he's allowed to keep spending this way? What happens if you guys are 3 points from Madrid next year, so you give him one more year, and he goes back and he keeps spending money? Let me finish.
This is make or break. Like,
but if he has a good year, you make a quarterfinal in the UCL, you make a quarterfinal or a semi. You make a semi.
The thing is, that's where I'm like, that's where you're not getting me, because you think I'm delusional, and I am. I'm not lying to you. A good season isn't.
You need silverware.
Isn't being there with Madrid anymore. It's not. That's not what I'm talking about anymore. We have to win trophies this year, and if we don't win trophies,
but do you think he gets? You think he gets fired if he doesn't win silverware this year?
I think so. Okay. I would.
Okay.
Cool. That's where I'm like. That's where I'm like. You know what? That's where I defer from you. We have to win trophies this year. If we do not win trophies this year, the whole decision he made with Xavi and all these decisions that he's making now they're gonna come back to bite him in the ass. And yeah, we're going to have to get rid of him. Like, it has to happen at that point. But we have to win trophies. If we do not win trophies, forget about Laporta. And yeah, I'm not looking this season, because he's, like I said, he's backed up into a corner. He backed himself up into the corner. And I've told you this multiple times. If this season we do not win trophies, I'm talking any of the not even any of the three. I'm not even going to be satisfied with just the Copa del Rey. We have to be winning La Liga.
See, that's where I agree with you. No. I agree with you that he needs to walk away with silverware to keep his job. I think my point is I don't think he's going to win silverware, like major silverware. I don't think you're winning the league. I don't think you're winning the UCL. I think you can win a Copa del Rey. I hope not. I want the trouble this year. I think you guys can win a Super Copa de España, because it's not even a real trophy. But you get the point. I think you should have fired him. That's my point. I think you should have I think you should have had that vote earlier on in this year, and it should have been a whole new president, a whole new situation, because my fear is going to be that he's going to put you guys into a financial situation where you're not going to be able to say no to a $260 million bid from PSG for Lamine Yamal. That is my concern. My concern is that you're going to sacrifice the future. That he's going to put himself in position as a club that when he does eventually go away, that you guys are in such a hole that now Kurbasi needs to get sold, that Yamal needs to get sold, and I don't want those players leaving Barca.
Right, I don't want to either.
That's where my concern comes from.
But at the end of the day, that's why La Masia is there.
Yeah, but Yamal doesn't come. It's once in a generation.
I get it. But like, this is what we're banking on. This is the point where we're at, and it's not just Laporta, bro.
No, like, it's the whole club.
Laporta did what he thought was right. Maybe it wasn't. Doesn't matter. He's not the one that put us in the situation as a whole.
No. He's trying to salvage a bad situation. I just think he's doing a bad job.
Right. I get that you think he's doing a bad job, but if he proves us wrong this season, then we can't say that anymore.
I hope not. I hate Laporta.
I know. If he proves us wrong this season, then we won't be able to say that. But this is the season to do it. This is where we're making or breaking here. And that's why I'm excited for this season, because, and especially the first half will tell us a lot of where we're at, where we're going to go. And so that's my whole point about it. And I think that's where we'll end with Barcelona. And
yeah, moving on, Kylian Mbappe comes to Real Madrid. Obviously, I think the best team, one of the best clubs in Europe, just became the best club in Europe. I think we got the best forward. We have the best left winger, all of that things. We spent a lot talking about Barcelona. I'll just say my bit really quickly. I think we are the best team in Europe right now. I think that we have the best depth in Europe as well. I think our B team is probably going to end up being better than most people's A teams. Not the top clubs in Europe, but I think it's going to be better than most clubs in all of that situation. I am a little bit concerned of the lack of movement in this year's transfer window. I understand we brought in Endrick. That was a deal that we had signed a while ago, and I know that we brought in Kylian Mbappe on a free, but like we mentioned earlier, I am concerned about our center back, situation, and the fact that we we were so confident that we were going to get Lenny Euro that we kind of took our foot off the gas. Lose him to Manchester United because Manchester United just is trying to do what PSG is trying to do with Nico Williams, is just throw all of the money at the kid, right? And then we sold Rafa Marin to Napoli, and it's just like, well, Marin was supposed to come in. Like, he was the next Nacho. Now he's gone. I'm a little concerned when it comes to the defensive depth of this team. I think that we'll address it and we'll do everything like that. But honestly, I kind of don't have a complaint about my team. It's hard to when you... Dude, we just won the La Liga pretty handedly.
I think that the one thing... I don't know. If I were you... And I want to look at this non-biasedly, and I've been telling you this, and I know you don't believe me, and you're gonna tell me over and over about this. I am concerned with Kylian Mbappe. I don't know why. Something's telling me he's not playing how he normally plays, and especially I looked at the Argentina game back in 2018, the 4-3 that he won, and. Man, that player, I don't see that right now in Kylian Mbappe, man. Something's holding him back, man. I don't know if he's still trying to develop, and then coming into a new team with the form that he's currently in. That if I was a Madrid fan,
I want to ask this:
that would worry me.
Where are you coming up with this idea of he is out of form? Because he just had the best season he's ever had for PSG. 44 goals in 48 games. That is his best season he has ever had for PSG. He's just coming off of. Now, the Euro, I get what you're saying. Broken nose is a very clear reason why he didn't perform all that well. But what is it? Because I want to understand. This isn't me trying to argue. I want to understand is it just a feeling that you can't put your...
The second half of the Champions League, something was off with him, dude. I don't know if it was the system he was playing. Maybe
where do you consider the second half? Post Barcelona, post Sociedad?
No. Even the Barcelona games, man. I just didn't see him. Did he even score against Barcelona?
2 goals.
Did he?
Yeah, he scored a goal, and then one of them was a penalty. One penalty, so we can take that away, and then he scored another goal in the 89th minute.
That's okay.
And then he scored he scored 3 goals against Real Sociedad. Nobody scored against Dortmund. PSG looked horrible against Dortmund. They shut the door on them, right? So is it a recency bias because the Dortmund game, the whole PSG squad didn't look good, and then comes to the Euro and he's playing all...
Maybe
I'm just asking because I want to understand.
No. I know. I get it. The game that we won... Didn't perform well. Then he performed a little better against the Barcelona game, against when they won 4-1.
Yep. And very easily because you guys got a red card early.
Yeah, because we got a red card early.
I look at his season and I go 27 goal and 29 appearances for the Ligue 1. 8 goals and 6 appearances in the Coupe de France. 8 goals and 12 appearances in the Champions League. I'm just not seeing this dip in form. And I just want to understand.
What? Right. Maybe it is just a feeling that I have. But the games that I've watched him, I'm not convinced, man. I mean, the games that I've been lucky to see him this year, something seems off with him, man. Something doesn't seem right. And him coming into a whole new team is definitely going to leak in there. I don't know what it is. I think maybe it is just me. And he probably will prove me wrong. He's the best player in the world. I've told you this. I've told you this right now. I think he is the best player in the world. I obviously don't feel like he should win the Ballon d'Or, but
I don't either.
He's definitely the best player in the world currently, I would say. The most talented, when we're talking about overall talent right now, it's Mbappe. I mean, he's got it all. He's got the dribbling. He's got the physicality. He's got the shot. I think that one thing he could work on is his passing, which I mean, being in the Spanish league is going to be very crucial for him, and I think it'll definitely develop his game. But I feel like this season, I think in general, is going to be a lot about getting him integrated into the team. And I do get I mean, players, I mean, they click. When there's a good player, they click, and he said it himself. And I do agree with that. But
my question, like I think the other thing is the expectation. So like the way that I look at it is Kylian Mbappe just scored 27 goals in Ligue 1 for PSG. He scored 8 goals in the Champions League for PSG. That was last year, right? And all I want him to do is if you can come into the Champions League for Real Madrid and replace the 5 goals that Joselu scored this year, that is a perfectly adequate year for me, and I think that would still be a good year for him. And if you come into La Liga and if you can just score, let's say, 15 goals, which would be a step down for him, right? He's a perennial, almost 30-goal scorer at PSG. 27 goals last year.
But
29 goals the year before. 28 goals the year before.
I get that you don't mind him scoring a low amount of goals.
No, not low. That's still exceptional numbers, but you don't need to score 30 goals for Real Madrid.
Well, but a low amount in his standards.
Yes.
Okay? But the thing is that I feel like he's a big player. I don't feel like Madrid are just going to use him as a Rodrigo. And I feel like you're kind of giving me that vibe that you think he's going to be like a Rodrigo this season.
No, because, I originally wanted that because the original thought was, not that I wanted that, but the original thought was that he was going to fill into that second striker spot alongside Vinny and that we were going to continue playing a 4-4-2 and at Diamond. It's already come out from Carlo that is not the plan. Kylian is going to play as a central striker between Rodrigo and Vinny. So the benefit here is that the player that is being replaced in the lineup technically is Toni Kroos. We're giving up on a midfielder to add the striker that we were missing last year. And that is where I look at it and I go, well, if Vinny gives us the goals that he gave us last year, Rodrigo gives us the goals that he gave us last year, and let's say Jude takes a step back because he's not going to play as a 10, really. He's going to play more of an 8. That would be my guess. Even if he does play as a 10. Let's say he goes from 19 goals to 15. Can he, as Kylian Mbappe, replace the goals that Joselu scored? Because Joselu scored 10 goals last year. And can he then, on top of that, score the goals that Jude Bellingham, let's say, doesn't score this year? He goes from 19 to 15. So can he score 14 goals for Real Madrid in La Liga? Can he do that? Because
I think it's just going to depend. It's going to depend on the system. Because if Jude plays as an 8, I don't see him even scoring that amount of goals. He's going to have to compensate that amount of goals with assists.
Totally. But what I'm saying is that's even if he takes that step back, Jude has 19 goals in La Liga last year. If he takes a step back, how many goals do you think he doesn't score? Do you think it goes from 19 to 15? Is it 19 to 12? You know what I mean? Whatever that is, he's still going to score goals.
That is a point. That is a point of concern. I mean, and I would say that as a Madrid fan, I'm trying to put myself non-biased because, I'm a Barcelona fan, so I'm not going to look at this as you are. But non-biasedly speaking, that's one thing that would worry me. Just, hey, like, is he gonna come in and be the main guy? What kind of system exactly? I get they're gonna play the front three. Who are they gonna play? How are they gonna play? And is Kylian Mbappe gonna be able to adapt himself this season? Because he will adapt himself eventually. Will he be able to adapt himself this season to Madrid to get them to win the treble, which is what you as a Madrid fan want, right?
Here's
I don't know if it'll happen this season.
No, I don't know. I want it, whatever, and it's because of the depth. I don't think we're going to be able to keep Brahim Diaz for much longer. Depth. I don't know how much longer we're going to keep Arda Güler. Endrick is going to want to start playing more minutes, and
I'm surprised Brahim Diaz hasn't left, in my opinion.
Totally agree. That being said, I think because I'm more intertwined with the team, I see more of the reports coming in. So I know how they're going to play in attack, how they're going to play in defense tactically. And I like it. I think there's a lot of really good things going on there. I'm gonna throw this to you since we're talking about Real Madrid. Let's say you were Florentino Perez, something happens, he's gone, and for some reason you get made president of the club, and you actually want to try to help Real Madrid go, what are some of the decisions?
I'm not a Barcelona fan.
Yeah,
right?
no.
Because then I would just ruin them.
But you're actually trying to, build this current squad, do things.
Mm-hmm.
What would you do this summer with Real Madrid to, I say, guarantee? Like, I think, not this, this summer. You have this summer. What are the moves that you would make that you would think position Real Madrid, not just this year, short term, long term? What are those kinds of decisions that you would make?
I don't want to say as a Barcelona fan, but the way I look at football, I would try to develop more youth. I would be very focused on hey, the B team. Be like, hey, let's get this B team because we already have so much great financial means. Let's get this B team to the next level. Let's try to get this B team to the next level. Let's focus on it like Barcelona would focus on there, because I don't want Barcelona saying that they have a better B team than us or that they can get better young players than we can. So I would definitely try to emphasize that on top of the already financial the financial standpoint that Real Madrid are already at, and getting the best players, getting the status that they're already at. That, and I would definitely this year go to try to get Saliba or try to get that center back. They just need that.
Yeah, I agree.
If you want a guaranteed depth in that squad, like you say, because you guys have a lot of depth, but yeah, as a Madrid fan, you should worry about that defensive, because that's what's going to get you to that treble.
Yep.
So yeah, this year I would definitely try to get a treble, because this is the year to do it. You got Mbappe on a free. All you need is a great center back. And I would try to get him now and not wait till next season, because who knows where these young guys that aren't playing are going to go next season. And who knows if you guys are going to have that depth. And so definitely do all in for Saliba. And if it ends up being too much, then go for somebody else, just so as long as you have that depth in defense that you do everywhere else already.
No, I can respect it. I think that is my biggest concern for Real Madrid is the center back position. Yeah. The only thing that I would add to that is I would also like upgrades at the fullbacks. And I don't want to say upgrades, but like Carvajal's 32, Ferland Mendy has injury issues. That I would
he'll still do it, but
totally. But he's 32. It's good to look to see if you can find a younger piece.
Okay.
That would be my only addition.
Laporta gets fired next year.
This year, right now, he's gone.
No. Okay, yeah, this year. Yeah, he fired Xavi, and everybody's like, you know what? Screw him. Let's bring in this other guy.
They hang him by his toes
and see what's up. Let's see what he can do with this team. What do you do? Go.
I think the first decision, like I come in and I have a meeting with Hansi Flick.
We're in the financial.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Hansi Flick already came in. There's nothing you could do about that. Like, even I know you don't like Hansi Flick, but he's already in.
I'm telling Hansi Flick. I come in and I say, Hansi, we have zero budget. We have zero budget. You know you're not getting new players. The best I can do for you is Mikel Merino. He is our number one target. He is our only target. You need to make it work with the players on the team. And then I'm going to butter him up, give him a couple of drinks, and I'm going to tell him later on when he's a little bit tipsy, I'm also going to be selling players on the squad, so you're going to have to do this with La Masia products. Xavi was in the unfortunate situation under Laporta that he had to promote the most La Masia products. You're going to have to follow his footsteps, because I am going to get this team out of financial problems right now. And the way that I would do that, I would say anybody who's over the age of 25 is for sale. If you're 25 or older, you're available. You're for sale. I'm not going to make your spot guaranteed. You're for sale. Rafinha, gone. Frankie de Jong, gone. Gundogan, gone. Lewandowski, gone. Araujo, gone. And
all replaced with La Masia products.
It doesn't necessarily have to be La Masia products. There are free players in the transfer market that you can go get. We can facilitate and build the squad with cheap loans and things like that. The idea is to just try to get the club out of financial disrepute as quickly as possible, because I think the point that I would like to do if I was the Barcelona president would be, I want Barcelona to come back onto the scene as the dominant club in Europe the moment that Real Madrid falters. The moment that Goulet, Endrick, and Brahim Diaz are all gone, and now Camavinga wants out because he's not starting over Tchouaméni, or you have to sell Tchouaméni. The moment that the cracks in the armor, because Real Madrid is not going to be able to keep this team together, I want to position myself to where, you know what, in 2 years, Lamine Yamal will be 18 years old. That's not old. I wish I would have been in there to stop the Marc Gui sale. I would have stopped that. I would not have let him go. But I would have said, if you're over the age of 25, you're gone. I would have kept the young guys, and I would have said, look, La Liga is not good enough of a league for us to not be competitive in it. We're going to get second place in back-to-back years, but watch out, because in year 3, the Spotify money will be in. I'll have 600 million, 700 million euros to spend. And I'll go out there and I'll go get Erling Haaland, because he'll probably be done with City by then. I'll go out there and I'll get Savinho. I'll go out there and I'll blow money on everybody. And we're going to make... And we're already going to have Lamine Yamal. And we're already going to have Pau Kubasi. And we're already going to have Pedri and Gavi. You've got pieces there. You know what? In 2 years' time, in 3 years' time, that's when I can drop a crap ton of money and I can build that team. And who knows if La Masia finds another kid that can come in and play exceptionally well. Who knows? But that's the plan. I fire Hansi Flick at the end of those 2 years, bring in the manager that I want. I personally would love the idea of bringing in Thiago Motta from Juventus at that point. He would have 2 years at Juventus to him to... I don't know if his style, that 2-7-2, would really fit with Barcelona. That's the guy that I really like, and I don't really care for the Barcelona sticking to their style. I know that you guys would, so maybe you find another 4-3-3 guy. Maybe Mikel Arteta comes at that point, whatever. New manager, 600 million euros on one squad. You load up. Real Madrid is coming off the back end of their dominance that we weren't going to compete with anyway. That's how I would do it. I would just say, we're all in 3 years from now. Let's just get this club right financially now. Let's accumulate as many assets as we can. Let's give as much rope to these young kids to prove that they deserve to be on the squad. And who knows what happens if we find what happens if there's another Xavi on the team that we weren't expecting? What happens if there's, a left winger in the academy that we just didn't want to give a shot to, but you know what, he's serious. What happens? What happens if Marc Gui is actually good and we just didn't give him rope because we were in a weird situation? That's what I would do. That's how I would do Barcelona. And I think it would work out. I think the fans would be mad at me, but once we start winning 3 years from now, they'll remember me in even better light than Laporte.
Well, you almost made me cry, man. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. And I guess we're going to end it there, man. God. That was such great topics. I'm excited to see what's going to happen this season. And man, I hope it's a good season. That's what I'm hoping for. And so
I need the transfers also. Obviously, we were sitting here talking about just Real Madrid and Barca. This is the El Clasico episode. But we're going to start expanding. We're going to start talking about everybody. Yeah. So let us know what clubs you want us to talk about, because we are dead in the middle of transfer season. So many good moves that we haven't even talked about yet.
Nope.
I'm so excited. Guys, podcast comes out every Friday evenings. So mark your calendars.
Anyways, to all the listeners out there, make sure you like, subscribe. Thank you guys for your time. Thank you guys for the listen. And let us know what you think in the comments.
Tell us how you would run the clubs in the comments. That's something I'm actually interested.
That'd be great.
That's a great one.
Yes.
That's a great one. How would you manage Barcelona through their financial situation? How would you guarantee Real Madrid the treble right now? That's what I want to hear. Forget everything else that we said. Do that. I want essays.
Let us know.
I'll read all of them and I'll respond to them.
100%. We will be responding to messages or comments. So please like, subscribe, and thank you guys again for the listen. Peace.